Looking to step up your equipment game in Rise of Kingdoms? Well, look no further than Barbarian Camps and Keeps. These contain challenge-level bosses and mobs that, when you defeat them, will reward you with chest drops containing equipment, as well as materials and more. In this video, we'll show you how to find Barbarian Camps and Keeps, as well as take you through what you get when you defeat them. So stick around for a full rundown on how to start getting better equipment today. When you zoom way out on the map from your city, you can find Barbarian Camps and Keeps by tapping the button in the upper left marked Barbarian Stronghold. That's going to show you where the nearest Barbarian strongholds are. The yellow ones are Barbarian Camps. The red ones are Barbarian Keeps, as you can see over here. And if it's got an exclamation point, that means the keep is challengeable right now. The Barbarian Camps and Keeps do have a respawn timer, so after they're defeated, there's a little bit of downtime between you can go and tackle them again. Let's first get a zoom in on one of these Barbarian Camps and get a look at what you might face when you're there. To battle a Barbarian Camp, you typically can bring one or more marches, and depending on how powered up you are, that will be enough to get the job done. The Barbarian Camps will level up in power as you defeat them, and the challenge boss that's here is the Iron Hand Fowler. When you defeat him, there are different equipment items available. The chase item that you're looking for top-end gear is the Silent Trial, which is an exceptional accessory, but the other equipment that he drops is also great in the early to mid-game as well. To show you exactly what one of those chests looks like when you defeat a boss, we'll head right over here, and you can see this one was beaten recently. It'll respawn in about 3 hours, and here is one of those chests that drops on the ground when you defeat a boss. There's no guarantee of loot when you take one of these things, so you'll want to battle lots of them to find the equipment you're looking for and to get those crucial blueprint fragments. Now, although these little individual camps are a good solo level challenge, you can defeat those yourself or the very small group. You're most likely going to want to team up with your friends to try to take down the highest tier keeps that you can possibly find. These Barbarian Keeps reward much more exceptional loot. The boss also gives much better loot when you defeat him, and these are a bit more tricky to navigate because there is quite a gauntlet in order to make your way to summon the boss and to get the loot. If you're going to take on one of these keeps, and I'd recommend you do this, bring a bunch of your friends and start by taking out the arrow towers. The arrow towers launch a long-range arrow hitting one target, slowing them tremendously. You're going to want to knock these out fast because they do huge damage. As you focus your way through this gauntlet of minions and towers, once you've defeated enough of them, a total of 140 alertness will be accrued. If you want to see the amount of alertness for defeating each of these different monsters and bosses, you can see by tapping on them the amount of alertness that it will reward towards summoning the boss. 140 alertness is what's required for this level 35 Barbarian Keep, and when that is reached, the boss will be summoned. If there are any other nearby little minions that you haven't completed yet, they will join in on the fight. So beware as you try to take this thing down. It's not an easy fight. There'll be a whole bunch of folks that join in to help the boss try to defeat you for the keep, but if you defeat them, the rewards are plentiful. Depending on the level of the keep, the rewards will vary for both beating the Bloodfist Barga primary boss, as well as a bonus boss that occasionally shows up if you are incredibly lucky. Each of them has a different loot table, which you can see by tapping on the icon with the big old chest. You can see that Bloodfist Barga drops Dark Lord's Blessing, an excellent cavalry chest piece, the Delane's Amulet, a very exceptional accessory, and the Gatekeeper's Shield, very great for infantry as a weapon. Swindler Dollaruk drops some rare loot as well, including the legendary Pendant of Eternal Night, which does skill damage, more Dark Lord's Blessings, and the Helm of the Phoenix. The higher level you go on these keeps, the higher the quantity of loot might be, ranging from 5 to 15 for the Swindler, and also 2 to 6 pieces for the Bloodfist Barga. My recommendation is that you bring a group and try to coordinate who's getting which loot pieces. You could do a little free-for-all situation, but sometimes that gets a little messy as people want to get those sweet, sweet rewards. Now, every time you defeat one of these Barbarian keeps, it will level up and respawn a little over 2.5 days later. So that means you can't challenge it. There'll be nothing here to do for 2.5 days. So you may want to set a timer or keep track of the next time that a keep will show up, because, my friends, you do not want to miss out on all this sweet loot. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick guide on battling Barbarian camps and keeps. My recommendation is that you do this every 2.5 days when they respawn, and there is a cooldown on collecting this Barbarian keep loot because it's so good. Just over 2.5 days is the amount of time you'll have to wait to get the rewards just for beating the boss. But hey, if chests still drop on the ground, then you can still pick those up. So I'd recommend planning to do these as soon as they respawn. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and drop a like onto here, and consider leaving a comment down below with other topics that you'd like us to cover on the channel. Consider subscribing for more tips and tricks that help you get value in Rise of Kingdoms. And until next time, you have fun taking down those keeps and camps.